Anthony Hartwig here with a Warren JFK Volleyball Coaches Corner and a season preview, joined by head coach Sam Young. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and giving us the solid preview of your team this year.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I always appreciate the opportunity.
You got it. Let's start off with a Meet the Team segment. I'm going to give you the chance to kind of go down your roster, give us the big names that you're going to be relying on this year, and then maybe for JFK fans, some new faces they should become accustomed to.
So this year we really only have one true starter returning from the varsity team. That's Hannah Myers. She's a sophomore. But I have a new player this year in Marina Sanders, who she's a senior, and I have another senior in Reagan Roberts, who we're looking at both of those girls to kind of fill those leadership responsibilities as far as the team goes. I do have a good amount of juniors on the team this year. I have Anaya Johnson, Danielle Wickham, and Jasmine Ridley. And then the other sophomores I have this year who are going to be stepping up and getting some playing time on varsity as well is Abby Littler and Celia LaFuria. And then new player who's she's great experience. She has a great skill set is Riley Gillespie. She's a freshman. I'm going to be looking forward to working with all the girls this year and just developing the team aspect, as you would say.
When you talk and you say that you only have one returning starter and there's so much turnover on this team, a lot of coaches might look at that to say that it's going to be a tough year. But what has been fun in that aspect for you to be having so many new people excited about this program and to be able to almost turn the page? And I don't want to start from scratch, but start with a whole another different roster and a whole different look from last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that as a coach, it's like, okay, where do I begin? We're kind of in that stage a little bit right now where we're still figuring things out. We just had a scrimmage yesterday with McDonald, and then we finished one today with Mooney. And, we're still trying to figure some things out. We're working on, who's going to be where. So that's still all kind of up in the air. And it's kind of fun, though, because when it's like that, that means, there's obviously competition. So girls, even though they are close with each other, they're friends, it's also putting in the moment where, they have to decide, hey, am I just going to sit back and do whatever, or am I going to compete for this spot? So that's something I kind of look forward to. Again, if you have 4 or 5 girls returning, okay, there's not really a whole lot you got to do there. But, with us only having one true starter coming back, it's a matter of like, okay, who's going to be stepping up and taking the reins this year. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that and working with the girls and just, improving a little bit every day.
Not only do you have to pick, who's going to be on what spot on the floor, but you also have to look for leaders and who's going to be the ones that are leading this team vocally and emotionally. Who are some girls that have stood out so far that you think are going to be big in the leadership aspect?
So this year we did something different with as soon as actual practices started, we had a MVP for attendance. So I would take attendance and write down what times they were getting there. And Hannah Myers and Marina Sanders were always right neck and neck with each other. Hannah was first every day, and then Marina was coming in shortly after. So if we had practice at 9, Hannah was getting in at 8 o'clock. Marina would be like, 10, 20 minutes after. Sometimes the Dunkin' Donuts line can be long. But Reagan Roberts is another one who, she works with the girls. She kind of leads the stretching and everything. She's making sure that the girls are doing what they're supposed to, that everything's set up properly. I'm looking for leadership, too, from our setter and Danielle Wickham. And she has this skill set to do it. And, she's not really going to be that vocal leader, but she's going to be that person that, she shows all the girls how to do it and what it's supposed to look like. She's kind of essentially that quiet leader that does everything and is, showing the girls what it's supposed to look like and how things are supposed to be done.
You can't mess with that pre-practice Dunkin' Donuts, coach.
No,
Can't even try. Nope. When you think about your schedule and the teams that you've put on your schedule this year, let's start with your conference you play in. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of tough teams you're going to have to contend with inside the conference. How do you see it shaking out, and what are your thoughts preseason about the conference you play in?
Conference play is always very tough. We have very tough team, very good teams that we play in our conference. Mogador, Rootstown, St. Thomas Aquinas, Southeast, Lake Center Christian. They're all very good programs, and some of those programs, they have teams where maybe they're not super athletic, but they just are very fundamentally sound. So that makes them extremely confident in their play, which produces wins for them. So that's kind of where we want to be as well. We're working our way to be there where, hey, maybe we don't have girls who are 6'4", 6'5", or anything like that, but we just don't make a lot of mistakes. So playing those teams, that helps us get better. So playing that high skill set of teams is only going to benefit us in the long run.
Sorry, Coach, I muted myself. But outside of the conference, JFK is never shy about putting really big teams on their schedule. Who are some teams outside of that conference that you're excited to test yourself against?
So this year we start a tri-game. We start at Champion and Pymatuning Valley. Champion did really well last year, and it's a team that I think could test us and really push us to our limits. So we're looking forward to playing them. Since I've been here, we've never played Liberty before, so that's going to be different for us to go out there and play them. Our first home game is against Southington, and we've played them in years past. Playing Ursuline and Mooney, those teams both being in the diocese is really good for us because they're really good teams, and like I said, they have a lot of athletes, so we want to be able to compete with them. So I wanted our girls to get the idea like, hey, we're only going to be getting better if we're playing competition that we need to be at, and we need to be making sure that we're at a high level. And I told the girls, I don't care what the score is. At the end of the day, if you can tell yourself that, hey, I gave everything I got, I worked hard, I did everything I possibly can, then that's all I can ask for. So as long as the girls are competing hard, they're working hard, I'm not really too concerned with the outcomes, because it's the effort that is the most important thing for me. And the season essentially just sets up for the playoffs. So that's where we want to try to succeed and kind of get over that hump.
When you talk about effort and work ethic of this team, what has it been like to try to instill that culture this year? And like we said before, a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a lot of girls that are stepping into this new experience. What has it been like trying to build the culture of effort, work ethic, and all the things that go past the volleyball score, as you say?
Well, I don't think necessarily this even pertains to just me alone, but I think the one thing that's very difficult with volleyball is the fact that, we have all this time to work with these girls, but we also don't really have a whole lot of time because they're, coming into the gym during the summer, they're conditioning, they're lifting, they're doing all these things, but, it's summertime. People go on vacation, they see family. So sometimes that can be a bit of a struggle. I've talked with other coaches who, they say, yeah, that's the hard thing is, since we're in the summer, people are going on vacations and people are, their kids are working. And it's not like, maybe like basketball, for instance, when, you're already in school, so that's not really an obstacle that they have to overcome there. So that sometimes can get in the way of things. But the girls this year, I thought, did a good job of making sure that they were coming in and they got serious about lifting, their conditioning, being in shape, putting extra time. We went to a camp this summer at Walsh University, which was good for us as a team. And, I think the girls are figuring out what it takes to get to that next level. I mean, with girls like Hannah and Marina coming in early, that's showing the other girls too, like, oh, well, okay, I need to be early too. And not just the fact that, you're there early, you're getting here early and you're working on something, you're improving something. So for me, seeing that, it's really good for the girls. most of the girls that I have, they're very high achievers academically. So for the majority of them, it's kind of normal. It's just like, running through everything. It's, keeping track of homework, keeping track of practice time. It's the same. These girls do an excellent job academically, very high achievers here, which I'm extremely proud of. So, kind of getting that mindset of the academic portion at Kennedy and then going to volleyball, that's really key for the girls' just overall development.
I want to also give you the chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people behind the scenes that are making JFK what it is. So, who are the people that are helping you out this year with this program?
So this year, I'm once again returning my assistant coach, Luana Sims. She was longtime head coach, and she's been with me now for several years. And she does a great job with my junior varsity girls. And sometimes whenever I explain things to girls, I don't know, maybe not comes off a specific way. So sometimes she helps and comes in, and she's able to explain it in a different way than I can, so they kind of understand a little bit better. So sometimes it just takes that, that opinion from another person or someone else saying it in a different way to click for somebody. And she does that very well for me. Another person who helps me out a lot is my athletic director, Al Gregos. He does a great job working with me, setting up the buses and our schedule. Elise Consiglio, who's principal here at JFK, she's also stepped up this year, and she's the 8th and 7th grade coach. And she's doing a tremendous job. She's had, a long time varsity experience at La Brea High School. So I greatly appreciate working with her because I can run things through her, get her ideas on, what to do and how to do things. And then, of course, I obviously have to thank and shout out my wife, who she and we just had our second child. We just had a son in May. So being a father to two now, it's definitely a lot more on the plate. And, I also want to thank my parents and my mother-in-law who help watch our children when she's at work and I'm here coaching, or I'm, here late at night figuring out, how to prep for the next day. So those are the people who really help me out. The parents too. I even have some alumni parents who have helped out. Mrs. Lori Shanofsky, Sarah Williams. They've done a great job of staying in contact with me and helping me as far as fundraising goes, meals for the bus, all this different stuff. I had alumni members come back to help. Abby Williams and Chloe Coates both came back to help out a little bit. So seeing that and, getting those alumni come back to help is always beneficial.
God bless coaching with a newborn. That's I'm sure that not everyone would want to do, but you're doing it really well. Coach, give JFK fans the info on when your first game is and when the first time they can come watch the Eagles square off in this season.
So our first game is August 19th. It's at Champion High School, and it's a tri game. So that means we will be playing Champion and Pymatuning Valley. That's at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then our first home game is the 22nd. It's here at 5:30. JV starts at 5:30, and that's against Southington. And that's on the 22nd, which I believe is a Tuesday.
You heard it, JFK fans. No reason to not go out and support this volleyball team now. You know when the games are, and get out there, support this team. They definitely would love to hear that gym get loud for a home Eagles match. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a solid preview of the JFK season. We wish you the best of luck this year, and, man, we can't wait to talk to you in real soon.
Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the year. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys around, and I appreciate this opportunity.